Buy our film, buy our film. This is yellow, this is blue. Same film, both yellow, both blue. This is the yellow one, this is the blue one. Same film, same film. It is blue, this is yellow. Buy it, buy it, buy it. Or don't. Hello there, Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection Reviewer Guy of all sorts of places, of peoples, of things, and movies, and band films, and flaccid penises. Turned it into a song there for a second. Anyway. With number 179 through 181, number 180 being Vilgot Sloman's I Am Curious Yellow, number 181 being Vilgot Sloman's I Am Curious Blue, and then 179 being the box set that sold both of them together, because they are both, kind of the same thing. I don't know. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's talk about these. So yeah, when we got into this, I wasn't sure whether or not originally I was going to do a separate video for I Am Curious Yellow and then a separate video for I Am Curious Blue, but after seeing both of them, I realized, you know what, honestly, we gotta do both of them. It'd just be easier to do both of them in the same film, in the same video, so, because they are kind of like the same film, basically, one being a little more sexually charged than the other. Yeah, and then the other one but anyway. But we'll do them one at a time, because there are supplements for each. So let's start with the one that everybody can't stand, including yours truly. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty bad. It was still pretty just boring and confusing. Still not too bad. But at the same time, yeah, in the end, I don't want to see this. I honestly don't want to see this film again. Yeah, I Am Curious Yellow. 1967, 121 minutes, black and white, Swedish. So let's talk about this one first. So got this girl named Lena, I forget her name, Nina Headley or something like that. It's played by a real woman named Lena Nyman. Or maybe her name is Lena Nyman, but I don't know. Anyway, so is Vilgot Showman's lover, and they're making a film together. And this is the other thing that really just is like, it's really the really confusing aspect about it, is that they're making this movie where Lena plays this radical who is, totally who's like this really curious kind of radical chick, and she is basically kind of like an interviewer. She goes about asking people on the street different things, and she's also curious, I guess, about her own sexuality too. She's had sex with 23 men. The first 19, her not liking the first 19 or something like that. And so there's the film, and then there's of course the film within the film, and we see, the director, we see Showman, I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'm gonna call him Showman. We see Showman, talking to Lena, and those are the scenes that I'm assuming are supposed to be them, the film outside of the film, or I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, so Lena, is basically challenging, the state, the heads of state, and then talking about the social classes, and she wants a breakdown of the social classes or something like that. And it's really just her interviews with, the directors and all that, and she just wants peace and all that, and she has goes around carrying protest signs, wanting, these states, people in office kicked out and all that. And but of course the more interesting aspect is the sex part. She meets this guy named Bill, and I forget who he is. He's like a car salesman, maybe. I don't remember. Or maybe he becomes a car salesman later. And so she has sex with him, and then they become lovers, and then she finds out that he has a woman with a kid that he lives with, and he tells her about her, and she gets all pissed, and then she finds out about another one of his lovers, and she gets all pissed, and yeah. And in the end, I guess in the end of the film, like, I guess she gets scabies from him or something like that, and it's really like, but they get cleaned off at the end of the film, and I guess the bit of it is like the film's wrapped up, and she goes back to return um, Showman's keys, and she finds out that he is, gonna have an affair with another student, another college student, which is fine because Lena, the actress, and Bill, the actor, or the actor who plays Bill, have gotten together off screen, or actually in love off screen, and that's how the film ends basically. And yeah, it's very hard to describe because of how confusing the movie is. The movie plays with itself quite a bit. I think the one thing that I kind of liked about this film that was kind of funny, that was remotely kind of humorous, was there's a recurring gag throughout the film, referring to Lena, this bag that Lena carries, it's never explained what's in it. Instead, there's like text saying, "What's in Lena's bag? Write in. You could win," like offering these prizes, like a trip to the Bahamas or something like that. Or like, I think third prize was a personal workout with this really hot princess. So every time they show the bag, it's like, still time to fill out for the contest, which that was kind of funny. That I'll give the film that. It had a little fun, but and there's a sort of mini narrator, this woman who would come on and like narrate certain parts of the movie, or like direct our attention to certain aspects, and that was kind of funny. But in the end, I think the movie was horrendously, was this huge controversy. A lot of people basically, banned it. It was banned in the States for the sex mostly. There's like gratuitous nudity and sex and all that. And I mean, I think one thing that most people comment on is this scene where Bill and Lena have just finished having sex and they're laying together, and she brings her lips very close to his flaccid penis. And apparently she doesn't actually kiss his penis, but she brings his lips like really, really close, according to this moment, like within a millimeter or so, something like that. But yeah, and that's just kind of, I thought it was going to be like a total like sex fest, but no. It's more, I think the one thing that really insulted me about it was the whole, banning the U.S. and the U.S.'s involvement in Vietnam, and I think that was probably, just really just hatred toward the U.S. And I think that's what a lot of people, other people like really got upset about too, was using just, this, like, to know that we were, against, they were they were bringing all this hate speech toward us. And, and while I'm not like a full, God-fearing American and all that, I did think it was a little harsh. I thought it was a little hard to look at, those scenes where they were just, ripping us a new one, So mostly because of that, I didn't really care much for this film. Yeah, and just Lena is just a really unlikable character anyway, There's just, and like, yeah, it's really hard to describe the rest of it. It's just a lot of just mishmash, just stuff. Like she runs off, she ends up running away and like has this like meditative thing where she does naked yoga, and it's all kinds of, it's just a really big mess of a movie. It's just weird, it's boring, and that's just why I don't like it. Not because, I was offended, because because of sex. That was kind of stupid. It was just stupid, basically. The movie was stupid. That's all I can say. And thankfully, I'm not alone. I guess it honestly doesn't stand up too well with American audiences, with like real Americans, not Criterion Americans, because they don't count. They'll eat anything. Criterion will eat anything, basically. And I often wonder, like, do every movie that Criterion gets into in their collection, do they like automatically assume each movie is 5 stars, and that's why they like bring it in? Because I'm just wondering if like that's how they feel, or if like they have like a ranking of like their favorite films, or like what do they think is the greatest film of all time? Do they think that like something like Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind might be, and they actually think that's their favorite film, but they just can't get it because they can't afford it? Or do they actually think that the movies that they get are the greatest of all time, and they actually have a favorite somewhere? These things I think about when I'm honestly not interested in the film itself. And yeah, so anyway, I've taken a tangent. I Am Curious Yellow, D minus. This movie was not that great. I said it wasn't bad, but in the end, it honestly just wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't enough. It wasn't Solo bad. It wasn't Picnic at Hanging Rock bad. I would much rather watch this than Picnic at Hanging Rock any day. I'd much rather watch this than Unbearable Lightness of. Actually, I think Unbearable Lightness of Being might win over this movie. I'm not sure. I definitely want to see this over The Night Porter. I'd much rather see this over The Night Porter, or oh god, any of the other crappy movies. But anyhow, so yeah, it just boring, stupid, weird, a little insulting toward the U.S. And yeah, that's about it. So that's all I'll say about it. Supplements, plenty of supplements. There's an introduction. Zellman actually comes off as a really nice guy in his introduction, and I like that he explained the titles, the yellow and blue, because that's the colors on the Swedish flag is yellow and blue, and so he made one yellow and one blue. And I guess apparently it was supposed to be one movie. Both of these were supposed to be one 3.5-hour movie, but they decided to split it up because I think probably because it would have been too long, and Swedish audiences would have fallen out of it. So there's a little 5-minute introduction where he talks about how he wanted complete control and freedom and all that, and it shows. There's an interview with the publisher Barney Rossett and attorney Edward DeGracia. They talk about how the film, all the controversy between the banning of the film and all that. And there's a little essay about called "The Battle for I Am Curious Yellow," where they talk about how it was banned in certain states. I think Massachusetts was one of the first. I think the first state to ban it. And then there's just some excerpts from the trial, just little questions that were asked. I think author Norman Mailer was interviewed, and of course Joman was interviewed. The trailer, which was never shown apparently. He talks. Joman says the audiences would never. He just decided not to use it, and it's just this little interview where it's this thing between Joman and Lena where he asks her, like, why are you here? Like, he plays a doctor and he asks her, why are you here? Oh, because I'm very curious. I ask a lot of questions, and then she asks him a bunch of questions, and yeah, so I guess he relegates Lena's curiosity as to being a disease, an actual disease that she wants cured. I don't know. So I Am Curious Yellow, yeah, D minus. Now, oh, wait a minute, let me switch gears for a second. All right, I Am Curious Blue, the same movie, but it's blue. And what's funny is this actually isn't as blue, literally blue, or slangishly blue as yellow, funny enough. There's sex in it, of course, because, but it's more about, this one's more about religion and sex and some of the prison system, and yeah, so basically this doesn't, like, this movie feels like outtakes from I Am Curious Yellow. Some of it is supposed to be set like before the events of I Am Curious Yellow, as well as after the events of I Am Curious Yellow. There's like bits where, like, I think it starts off with them like watching dailies or whatever they're called. And then she interviews people like she interviews a bunch of people in the church. Like she asks them about like whether the church and state should be separated. And there's a longer sequence where she interviews this guy in a car about like his relationship with his wife and like whether or like his girlfriend or whether or not they'd have sex before they were married and abstinence and all that. And there's also a little scene where they sing this protest song about some dictator who built this prison. Started with a K, I can't remember. And yeah, it's just really, really confusing. It's really real. It's definitely nowhere near as entertaining as I Am Curious Yellow, and the ending is very horrendously ambiguous. And there is no real ending. In fact, I think it just ends with them. It ends with I think the same ending as Yellow, where it shows them getting scabies basically, or whatever. Yeah, I think it's scabies. And they're walking together, and it shows like the filming of the shot, like somebody filming the shot of them walking out of the health center or something like that. Then she walks off and talks to some woman, and that's it. Yeah, so I basically I did not want to do these separately because they're just basically the same thing, honestly. This one just there's bits where Xiaoman has Lena watch certain scenes that he's filming, and like little directorial behind the scenes things. Yeah, that's basically. I can't say much more about this. I'm giving it, and because I'm gonna give it the same rating, D-. There's not much to it. I would give it an F, but it's honestly not something that I couldn't watch again. Unlike Solo and Picnic and Hanging Rock and all that. I could watch this again, but would I enjoy it? No, I would not enjoy it. Yeah, so D-. Not probably nowhere near as entertaining as Yellow, but still not a horrible film. Supplements. There's a deleted scene with an introduction by Xiaoman talking about how he couldn't use the scene. And it's basically the scene where she goes to this church and defrocks this priest or bishop and like spits on him or yells at him and something like that. It's really annoying. And these two people in the pews are watching him, this couple, and they're really annoying. And then there's a documentary that Xiaoman made for Swedish television called Self-Portrait 92. And basically it's just this film that he made where he just talks about his films, and I think he's like the only director. Like the first shot like shows him like trying to set up a shot in this white room of him saying Self-Portrait 92, and he like has the camera set up on books, and he like says Self-Portrait 92, and like the shot's never perfect. And yeah, and then later he just talks about a little bit about his life too, and how he got in this car accident when he was a child. And yeah, so he's not it's not like, so I have no disdain for Xiaoman, really. I mean, I'd like to think that maybe some of his other films are pretty good, like The Mistress or A Handful of Love, maybe. I don't know. I was just looking up some of his other films, and I thought maybe there are some other good films. I don't know if any of them are in the Criterion collection, but yeah, I knew that they would get these two first. So anyway, let's stop there because yeah, I have nothing else to say. I wonder. Okay. All I'll say is, I better not have to say the name Lena in this series until Tiny Furniture. That's all I have to say. I Am Curious Yellow and I Am Curious Blue, D-, blah. Alright, so that's it for that thing. Tomorrow, we got Straw Dogs. We got Sam Peckinpah. So hopefully we got some violent goodies coming up. Some really, really violent goodies coming up tomorrow. And then Les Dams, the Les Dams movie. That's on Thursday. And then next Sunday, we should get to By Brackage and Anthology. And then after that, well, actually, I'm not sure. We might not. We might. The only one we might do next week is By Brackage and Anthology. Not sure yet, because the next one after that is The Adventures of Antoine Doindel. I forget his name. Which is a box set including all the movies that Francois Truffaut did, starring Antoine. If you remember him from number 5, I think, the 400 Blows. So it's a box that includes the 400 Blows with Antoine and Colette or something, the first 2 films that we saw a long time ago, and then there's the 3 other films that he did: Stolen Kisses, Bed and Board, and Love on the Run. So I kind of want to do all of those in one sitting. Well, not in one sitting, but I'll probably do those. I won't do all of those in one day, because there is a supplements disc too. So we'll probably do those in 1 week. So more than likely I will do, maybe next week the only one we'll do is by Brackage and Anthology. And then the week after that we'll do like the Sunday we'll do Stolen Kisses, the Monday we'll do Bed and Board, and then Tuesday I think it's I don't remember what day, that we'll do Love on the Run, and then Thursday maybe we'll do the supplements disc, and that'll be it. Because I think the weekend after we do The Adventures of Antoine Doinel, I am going to be out of town, and I probably will not be able to do any reviews that weekend. So we'll have to take another weekend off, but it'll be fine because we're almost done. We're in the 80s now, the 180s. It's such a good feeling. We're almost done, and we're coming up to some directors. I think after that is after the Antoine Doinel series is The White Sheik, which is a out-of-print Fellini film, and then Throne of Blood, Kurosawa! And then I think there's like Derek Jarman's Jubilee, and Coup de Gras, and I forget the others, Il Posterone, I forget the names of the others. And then we'll be in the 90s, and it'll be a good film. So anyway, but I'll let you know once I get the films, and who knows, maybe By Brackage isn't that long, I don't know. I think it's 2 discs though. And I know that there's a second volume that I think came out later, and since then they've compiled both on a Blu-ray set. But I've only requested just what's on the first number 180, whatever it is, number 184, I guess. So that'll be coming. We'll probably do that one sometime next week. And so that's it. We're done. Thank you for watching. Morals. Don't. If you live in Sweden, try to love us. Don't bash the U.S. And don't kiss men's penises. And don't fight naked. Well, actually, don't fight naked. Don't do naked yoga. Don't have an affair with Violet Showman, because then he'll make you be a radical and hold signs that are probably really heavy. And and don't take off priest clothes, and don't sing protest songs about prison systems, and and don't name your daughters Lena, because people who are named Lena suck, basically. Foreshadowing. Not for a few years, but I'm not looking forward to it. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for Sam Peckinpah's Straw Dogs. That's disc 2, but Straw Dogs. And until then, goodbye.